I am trying to make a realistic video for YouTube for building a lizard, or in this case a bearded dragon enclosure. However, most of the videos that I've seen for building these cages on YouTube are done by someone who either really seems to know what they're doing or they have a lot of tools available at home. And this one is kind of going to be from the standpoint of somebody who has no clue and has never built anything before, so maybe a good guide for somebody who really wants to know what it's going to be like and the mistakes not to make, because I've definitely made quite a few. The only tools I started out with are this DeWalt drill thing. I don't know if it's a drill or a screwdriver. I guess it does both depending on the bit that you have on the end. And then this Black & Decker up and down saw thingy. I don't know what that's called. I already had that, but this little saw piece thing I bought, and then this circly piece, it's 3 inches to make the holes in the back of the enclosure. I borrowed that from somebody. So I went to Lowe's. I got a sheet of plywood, one sheet. Cost me about 20 bucks, maybe less if you got, I got a really good piece of plywood. I guess they differ. 1/2 inch thick. So this width right here is a 1/2 inch. And our enclosure we're making to be the size of my son's desk, which is 40 inches long by 17 inches wide. And then I had gone to Crossfire enclosures, Crossfire Dragons, something like that. They had made theirs 2 feet tall, which now I'm kind of wishing I had only made 18 inches, because I realized that the UVB light, it's only effective from 18 to optimally 10 or 12 inches. So I'm going to have to put in a shelf or a really large piece of driftwood for him to get closer to the lights. I cut out this piece on top where I'm going to put the screen and have my lamps. We have these 2 things on the side for the vents, and then the circly vents on the back. I bought these. These are the vents that are going to go on the side. I think they're 6 by 18 inches, and they were like $1.50 at Lowe's. And then I got a 6-pack of these circle vents. They were like $6. I told my son that I would try and use those if I could get a circly drill thing, which I ended up being able to do that. Unfortunately, my drill was like smoking, and I was worried it was going to catch on fire while I was drilling them. I kept getting half of the way through and it would stop and smoke would be pouring out of the drill. Not sure that's really safe, but I didn't light on fire, so that's good. I finished it. But if you don't feel like doing that, I had also picked up as a backup one of these. You could use 1 or 2 of these. They're, I think, 4 by 16 or 4 by 8 or something. It was also $1 at Lowe's, and you could just use your long up and down saw thing to cut that. So the guys at Lowe's cut all these boards for me. I cut these holes out with my up and downy saw. They actually didn't charge me anything for any of the cuts, so I had 1 piece of plywood. They cut it to the sizes that I specified. I think they do that free for everyone. Of course, they could have just realized what an idiot I was and did it for me out of pity, but I'm sure that you could get them to do it too. So yeah, now I've got this box put together. We've got the bottom piece, it's 40 by 17. These side pieces, both sides, are 23 to make up for the 1/2 inch thick on the bottom and the top, 23 by 17. And then the back is 39 by 23, because you've got a 1/2 inch all the way around it, as you can see. And you can tell I used screws, which you're not really, I guess, supposed to screw into the side of the plywood like that, and these nails pop out when you do that. I made sure that none were popping out on the inside. I figured this one didn't really matter because it was the back and it's going to be against the wall. No one's really going to see it or get hurt by it. A couple times it happened on the inside and I had to re-drill the hole. So yeah, now I'm going to go through and I'm going to sand everything. I just went back to Lowe's and I picked up these pieces of wood trim. These are actually oak, and I'm going to use these for the front of the enclosure, kind of to make it look nice. I'm going to put one there and one on the bottom on the sides, and Then I also picked up these are sheets for glass for the sides of the front of the enclosure. And I picked up some of this stuff called Power Grab, I guess, as opposed to liquid nails. I was told it works a little bit better. And I'm going to use that instead of screws for the front. So I bought this thingy here too. I don't know what that's called. And then I also am going to stain it. I got this waterborne poly stain. I'm told it's pretty non-toxic, water-based, so that I can do the inside and the out. I know probably some people are going to disagree with staining the inside of the enclosure, but I really want it to be sealed. This is a stain slash sealant, so I really want it to be sealed so that no issues come about with the humidity in the cage. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and I will be back in a second and show you my progress. Okay, this isn't very pretty, but what I've done is I've gone through and I've sanded all my edges, especially the ones that are going to be inside the lizard enclosure. Some of the edges aren't too easy to sand because I don't know how to cut, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'm not a very good cutter, and it's kind of wavy, and you know, it's not very nice looking here, but I don't think it'll really matter. This part here is the top, and it's just going to have screen over it with heat lamps. These edges here and the edges over here on the inside are going to be covered with my vents that have the screening over them, so you're not going to be able to see or really touch those. And then I applied my Power Grab in a beaded line along the edges on the upper and bottom of the case, along the plywood, and then I applied my oak boards for the top and the bottom. We're actually upside down right now, so I applied them to the top and the bottom on the beaded line of Power Grab. I kind of squirted out the sides a little bit, which I scraped off a little bit with a knife. I guess you can just sand it right off is what it says, so I'll do that after it's dried some. And I've got books weighing those down, although it says I don't really have to. I felt better about it. And if you notice, I was supposed to have some pieces, thinner pieces here along the side, which I bought over here, and I had cut at Lowe's the size I asked for, which was wrong. So they're about 3/4 of an inch too short. You can see here, it's even here, and it's equal there and short there. So now I'm about to go back to Lowe's and get another board. Luckily that one was only $2.50, so it's a learning experience. Alright, I will be back and show you an update after I've got those sides on, and I'm going to start staining.